The year is 1987 and Mirage Publishing sends 2 comics to hit the printing presses, resulting in an accident, thus birthing a recalled comic grail. TMNT number 4, the second print. This particular printing mishap ends up slapping the cover of TMNT Tales number 1 onto the exterior of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 4, the second print. Now, Mirage Publishing claims that around 1,000 copies actually made distribution before a massive 59,000 comics were pulped. Laird himself has also been on record stating that very few copies have made it out alive. Since 1987, a total of 149 have hit the CGC census, with the most recent 9.8 sale ending in January of this year for a cool $2,880, and landing this issue the number 8 spot on the list. Boy, do I love some hidden gems. What is up, guys? We're back with another episode of Hidden Gems. This is part 2. Hit like if you like free information and rare books. Let's dive in. I think it's pretty safe to say that the greatest modern comic book crash has been the Ultimate Fallout 4, the 1 in 25 Djurjevic variant, but the next book on this list is similar style, an arguably better cover, and has so far proven to be substantially more scarce. I am talking about Daken Dark Wolverine, issue number 4, the 1 in 75 Djurjevic variant. Now, this particular book isn't really a key issue, but if you're a rare variant fan or a gorgeous X-Men cover lover, you might already find yourself searching online. The last recorded sale was in 2022 at a fixed price of $165. Currently, only 20 copies have hit the CGC census, and of those 28 have hit 9.8. Now, a very valid concern with this book here. If this book were to get more popular and more would flood the market, wouldn't that drive the price down? Not exactly. See, the difference between a 1 in 25 Djurjevic variant centered around the death of Spider-Man versus a 1 in 75 variant on a comic series centered around Wolverine's mutant son Daken is substantial. I can pretty much guarantee you that not many comic shops were buying 75 copies of Daken Dark Wolverine number 4, making this a Djurjevic variant that I'm on the look for. Now, here's a question. What happens when comic book artists accidentally put The Thing in Swamp Thing? You get the number 6 spot on the list, Swamp Thing number 11 from 2012. It was writer Scott Snyder that claimed that his asking for a few more tentacles on some interior comic panels led to this highly suggestive issue. Now, luckily, the mistake was caught about 1 month before the comics were due to hit shelves, but that didn't stop DC Comic insiders from stealing 2 copies and driving them into circulation. So there are currently only 2 copies on the CGC census with the label that states recalled due to suggestive panel. And the only sale thus far, according to Go Collect, was... Exactly how many are out there are completely unknown, and there are currently none listed. But in an incredible side note, in 2014, Scott Snyder received a mysterious gift on his birthday from friend Raphael Albuquerque.
What's in the box? What's in the fucking box?
And inside contained the original recalled panel art. Now that's one hell of a package. I mean, tentacle. Our next book on the list will have Lady Death fans searching eBay faster than you can say Lady Death Nightmare Symphony 1, the Nightmarish Mega Baller Art Germ Limited Edition variant set. Now, pledgers on this comic's Kickstarter page that donated $799 or more received 3 limited edition variants, each one with their own serial number, and each one limited to a 77 print count. The Legend Edition, the Noir Edition, and the Legend Virgin Art Holofoil Edition. 77 print run, that's pretty rare, but not rare enough. This Kickstarter comic went the Willy Wonka route, offering 10 random golden tickets to multiple winners across any donation tiers. Winners of the tickets got themselves the rarest Art Germ variant of all time, the Metal Legend variant, which was limited to a print count of 13. Now, of the 13, only 2 of those hit the CGC census, and both of them hit 9.9. No listings found, no record sales to date. Keep hitting those back issue bins. Now, most people watching this are probably familiar with Fantastic Four issue number 52, the first appearance of T'Challa, the Black Panther. But did you know that Jack Kirby and Joe Sinnott actually had an alternate cover for this book? And it just didn't make the cut. That is until Black Panther number 1 in 2018. Actually, this original cover art by Joe Sinnott and Jack Kirby went to auction in 2016 and sold for over $100,000. It was 2 years later that the art was used for Black Panther #1. And it came in the form of 2 very rare comic variants. This was a 1 in 500 colored edition and a 1 in 1000 sketch edition. Of the total sketch variants, only 9 of them have yet to hit the CGC census. And a CGC 9.8 sketch variant, 1 in 1000, sold for $158 at auction this year. What a steal. Me personally, I actually like this cover better. Okay, last of the recalled comics on this list. Some of you might already know of the Universe X Spidey recalled comic book. It was in this issue that Al Milgrom used it to express his true feelings about recent Marvel editor Bob Harras. If you're not familiar, on page 28, panel 3, there are a series of books behind a character, and if turned sideways, read, "Harras, haha, he's gone. Good riddance to bad rubbish. He was a nasty SOB." Now, this book actually did produce 2 corrected high ratio variant covers. The Dynamic Forces variant, art also by Alex Ross, limited to 3,000 and had a sketch counterpart limited to 1,000. The original cover A hit its height in 2021 with a sale of $880, and the most recent 9.8 sale sold in 2022 for $580. Alright gamers, you've got your first appearance of Zelda in comics, you've got your Blip magazine #1, you've even got a Zelda #1 in a CGC 9.8. Very nice. But do you have Zelda #1, the no price variant? This comic was printed in 1990 and failed to print the typical purchase price in the top right corner of the comic.
No price tag, must be free.
Good. Now, this variant, making up the lower print count of all of these Zelda 1 comic variants, can typically be bought raw between $100 and $300 depending on condition. But the last CGC 9.6 copy sold for almost $800. And GPA Analysis has a recent 9.8 sale for an astounding $2,800. In this market, that is absolutely wild. And last but certainly not least, #1 on the list, Wolverine 102.5. This issue was available in 1996 and takes place, you guessed it, between Wolverine 102 and 103. It was written by Dan Slott and the cover art was done by artist Boris Vallejo. The only way to get this comic was through a coupon that you had to mail in. This coupon was produced by the 1996 Fleer Ultra X-Men Wolverine trading card set. Now, mailing comics from the 90s typically mean 2 things. 1, hard to find. 2, even harder to find and high grade. That's why the last high-grade raw sale sold on eBay for $300 in October of this year. A total of 225 have been graded, and only 9 have hit the 9.8 mark. The last 9.8 sale was in November of 2020, and it sold for $850. I could currently only find one 9.8 for sale on eBay, and it was a pretty ridiculous asking price. But hey, he who controls the comic controls the price. But probably the coolest thing about this 90s comic gimmick is that the interior pages of the comic book can be found on the back of the 96 trading cards themselves. I would like to thank sites like Key Collector, RecalledComics.com, Go Collect, and GPA Analysis for providing this information that I can gather, culminate, and spread on to you, the comic book community. I want to know in the comments section below, do you guys have any of these comics in your personal collection? Hit the like button on the way out if you enjoyed the video, or even if you just found this information useful. Thank you so much, everybody, and we'll see you on the next page.